The first generation have reliable high-speed internet and a cell phone in every pocket. With such technological marvels, you would think this generation of children wouldn't have time for toys, much less toys that had the potential to kill them. A decade known for the Razor scooter, Bratz Dolls, Heelys, and children across the country neglected their real dog for robotic ones.
It's so cool!
Yeah, it's much cooler than your stupid human dog.
For this list, All Things Top 5 looks at the most dangerous toys from the 2000s that resulted in injury or death. It's a miracle Toys R Us lasted as long as it did.
All those shops gone. The Gap, Starbucks, Toys R Us. Who will remember all those landmarks unless we tell the world of them?
Number 5. Magnetics.
Magnetics! All new, let's see what you can do. Magnetics! The totally new extenders, flexors, curves, connectors, and lights. The magic of magnetics is the power of magnetics. Let's see what you can do with magnetics.
Magnetics became a parent's nightmare in 2007 after many children suffered serious injuries after swallowing the magnets that had fallen out of the plastic pieces. Magnetics building sets feature plastic pieces that could break open, spilling small yet powerful balls.
That's what he said, right, guys, because of gay?
That were easily swallowed by curious toddlers. Unlike most small objects swallowed in this manner, the magnets didn't pass through the digestive system. Instead, they connected with each other through tissue walls, sometimes forming large masses that twist intestines and cut off blood supply to vital organs requiring surgery. The result can be a painful death within hours. Magnetics manufacturer, Megablocks, released a statement saying it had no record or knowledge of a similar occurrence involving this toy. In 2005, 22-month-old Kenny died after 9 tiny magnets reattached inside his bowels. 3 million magnetic sets sat on store shelves for 4 months after Kenny's death. When they were finally recalled, at least 34 more children were known to have been injured.
Oh my god, they killed Kenny! You bastards!
Number 4. Polly Pockets.
Quick Click, House of Style. For Quick Click fashion, it's totally wild. Elevator down. Hey, a new outfit. Change the color. A Quick Click trick.
90s kids will remember the original Polly Pocket compacts, but it was a later version that actually caused a major safety alert. A few years after launching its Quick Click line in 2004, Mattel recalled 7.3 million playsets due to, you guessed it, faulty magnets.
Yeah, bitch! Magnets! Oh!
Of all the toys in the world that could harm your child, you'd think Polly Pocket would be on the very bottom of the list. They're cute and harmless, and besides, it's just a bunch of dolls and a playhouse. What could possibly go wrong? It's almost as if Mattel intentionally designed a dollhouse for little kids where each piece is scientifically engineered to fit inside a child's throat. Young children being young children would eat the magnets or stick them in noses and ears, which is bad enough on its own. The CPSC mentioned around 170 cases of rogue magnets, which resulted in 3 cases of hospitalization for children.
You lied! You promised it wouldn't hurt! It hurt!
Number 3. CSI Fingerprint Examination Kit. In 2007, a science kit based on the hit TV show that kids probably shouldn't be watching proved to be more dangerous than the stories told in the murder porn crime drama. Kids got to live out their CSI fantasy of dusting fingerprints and collecting bodily fluids off a dead prostitute's body.
I've never seen so many dead hookers in all my life!
As stated, the kit allowed children to dust for fingerprints. The problem is that the powder used to dust for said fingerprints was chock full of asbestos. The Environmental Working Group reported that the powder contained up to 7% of tremolite, one of the most dangerous forms of asbestos, and more than enough to cause cancer later in life.
Is it dangerous?
Legally, I have to say yes, but personally, I don't think it's a problem. How could asbestos hurt you? It's got best right in it.
Rather than wait for the CPSC to negotiate a recall, the Asbestos Disease Awareness Organization filed a civil action to stop sales of the kit. It took 20 months for CBS to agree to a settlement in the class action lawsuit and finally issue a recall of the toy.
Court is adjourned.
Pay to the order of Mrs. Wilbur Stark, $1.09.
It was never made clear why asbestos was included in the fingerprint powder, which could easily be inhaled, but many customers blamed China since the game was manufactured there.
A state inspector found 1.74 parts per million of asbestos! That's not enough! We demand more asbestos! More asbestos! More asbestos! More asbestos! More asbestos! More asbestos!
Number 2. Hannah Montana Pop Star Card Game. Before Miley Cyrus was poisoning the youth of America with her twerking, she was poisoning them with her Hannah Montana Popstar card game, which contained lead at 75 times the legal level.
And Hannah Montana can go back to naked straddling the 3-ton wrecking ball she was clearly upsold at Home Depot.
Second only to arsenic, lead is one of the deadliest household toxins in existence. The American Academy of Pediatrics recommends that no toy contains more than 40 parts per million lead, which is why it was so alarming when lab tests revealed the Hannah Montana Popstar card game contained lead at 75 times that level, a whopping 3,000 parts per million. Hannah Montana wasn't the only wrecking ball in 2007. One study found that 35% of all toys on the shelves contained high levels of lead, and nearly 5% contained arsenic or cadmium. By year's end, there had been 42 recalls involving 6 million toys for excessive lead levels. But Hannah Montana stayed on the shelves because the lead was found in his vinyl, not in the paint, and thus was not covered by the regulation.
I thank the man upstairs that we live in a country where the corporations can reap the profits from a death machine and, through the use of loopholes and disclaimers, not be liable when the lawsuits start flooding in.
Before we get to number 1, remember to subscribe to All Things Top 5 and ring the bell to be notified for our latest videos. Number 1. Aqua Dots.
For fun that stays,
Aqua Dots!
The magical dots you create, spray, and play.
Arrange small beads, spritz them with water, and your design will fuse together. Sounds like fun, right? The problem with this 2007 toy was that the coating released a compound GHB, which stands for gamma hydroxybutyrate, also known as the date rape drug, Rohypnol, Roofies, Mickey, and the Bill Cosby.
What's this? Is your date drug? Your roofie?
It's a Mentos. They're the fresh maker.
Aqua Dots Design Studio, sold in Australia as Bindies, allows children to create 3D creations using small beads that become adhesive when wet. Once dried, kids are left with their own fixed creations. 2 children in the US and 3 in Australia were hospitalized after swallowing several beads. The affected children became dizzy, vomited, and eventually slipped into a comatose state for as many as 5 days. The toys makers blamed Chinese subcontractors before eventually agreeing to recall all 4.2 million Aqua Dots kits. Just 2 years later, Aqua Dots hit the market again under the name Pixos in the US and Beatos in Australia in a transparent attempt to disassociate the old toys from the new ones. The products were marketed as safely tested and manufactured using only approved ingredients. However, the background music in the television commercial remained exactly the same.
Aqua Dots!
The magical dots you create, spray, and play. And get ready for the all-new Aqua Dots Super
Pixos!
Colorful Pixos that you can spray and they stay. Just pick a pattern, pop them on the tray.
We can only assume that Aqua Dots are now selling for hundreds of dollars on eBay to frat houses across the country. Do you agree or disagree with our list? Did the 2000s leave you all choked up as a child? Comment below and watch our other videos and subscribe to All Things Top 5.